The best receiver I can be in and out of breaks, being sharp at the top of routes, and just I focus on whether it's catching balls, stationary or moving, whatever the case may be, just trying to be the best player I can be each and every time I step out in the field.
It hasn't been, the easiest, 4 years for you to kind of have this opportunity to step up in a bigger role. How important has that been, and how much are you looking forward to taking advantage of it?
I'm so excited. I can't wait to show what I've been working for. I know it's been a long, rough 4 years for me, but I've been prepping for this moment my whole life, so it's not just these years, it's everything leading up to this, just knowing the game, learning the game, studying the game, watching other people, other guys, I'm so excited to show what I can do, and I'm so excited for this team and what we're about to bring to the table.
Well, what made you stick it out to this point, man? Some guys would transfer, try to play elsewhere. What's driven you to want to make it, see it through here?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, my biggest thing is just grit, right? Grind it out. Really that blue-collar mentality that's been developed that I've, had from my family, my upbringing. We stick things out. When times get hard, when things get rough, my life was never easy. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it was, but, you got to fight. And that's the biggest thing I want to show my siblings and my brothers, you got to fight. You got to fight and be a role model for them. You can make it through rough times. You can be better than the outcomes, and you can beat the odds. So that's my biggest thing, just staying here. I know they love me here. I love it here. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So, just trusting that process, that's the biggest thing for me, trusting the process, trusting these coaches and those players up there, knowing that we'll get it done.
Coming out of Redlands East, what was your recruitment like? How'd you end up at Boise State?
So recruitment, Coach Andy, he was recruiting me back when he was the defensive coordinator here because he's from a similar area. Loved him, and my family loved him. Coach Hars, and Coach Keys, those guys, they recruited me. They came down. Coach Lee Marks, I remember that was the first coach to talk to me. And when you're a little high schooler, that means a lot. And like I said, I'm all about that loyalty, that grit, that grind it out. So you come and show me love, I'm gonna show you that same type of love. So Boise was always a favorite. I came up here and watched them play Wyoming when Josh Allen was there, and I loved it. Boise won, found a way to win, and it was just a great game. So I mean, I love the environment, love the culture, and I was like, yeah, that's something I want to be a part of for sure.
Kind of in some ways flew under the radar a little bit at Redlands, and do you kind of feel like that's almost your type thing of like thriving when you're under the radar?
Yeah, I mean, I just keep my head down and grind. Grind in the shadows. I always tell myself the real will prevail. There's no need to try and do extras or go out of my framework. Just stay true to who I am. I've done it before. It's nothing new, and just work your way up from the bottom, and time will tell. What's done in the dark will come to light. So just keep working when the lights are off, and then my time will come and it'll show.
This morning in the circle, you were telling the boys to seize their opportunities. Do you feel like you're kind of leading by example in that sense, getting ready to try to make a big jump this season?
Absolutely. I try to give them confidence. I know I have confidence. It's like, hey, when this opportunity comes, you guys will be ready. And that's the biggest thing I tell the young guys. Trust your training. That's why we work so hard. That's why we put ourselves in these situations, these circumstances, so that way when the time comes, you're going to rely on your training. You're going to fall back to those fundamentals, those details, those techniques that we push and work every single day. So I tell the boys out there, hey, seize your opportunity because the time will come. Unfortunately, this game, injuries happen. When your time comes to step up, trusting yourself, trusting your brothers, we'll get the job done.
Do you keep track of what day it is at fall camp, or the days just come fast and
I lose track of the time and the days. I just stick to the schedule and know where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be there, and tell the guys the same thing. We have a group chat, so it's like, hey, we got meeting in 15 minutes. We got film in a couple minutes. We got this or that. Food here, food there. We just keep each other up to par. But yeah, time and day kind of gets lost when you're in camp mode.
What are these final days like where you are in camp mode, where you don't have school, you're not really prepping for a game yet? What are these final days like?
It's just the fine-tuning points, right? You want to try and hone down and build upon your weaknesses, your strengths, trying to keep improving on those, and just make yourself the best player you can before it's time to start focusing on, an opponent, right? It's all about us. How can we be better? What can we do to get ourselves ready and keep improving individually and collectively, So right now we're just really in those last kind of dog days of us, and then we'll move eventually to our first opponent.
What has the competition been like for you guys to earn some playing time and get some reps out there?
It's been up there for sure. It's always competitive here, and that's one thing it's been since I stepped foot on this, my very first fall camp. It's always been compete. That's one thing we push. That's one thing that has just been installed in our heads. You got to come out here and compete every single day. It's up on the boards. It's out there before we go and leave the locker room. It's just compete, be your best version of yourself, compete in everything we do.
Who else in the wide receivers group look good to you?
I mean, personally, collectively, we all are doing very well. I've seen tremendous improvement from everyone, in the spring, come until now. I'm excited for our group. I know we're taking, steps in the right direction, and that's our biggest motto in the room is just day by day, step, 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 lay that brick by brick by brick. Eventually you'll have a wall. So that's what we're trying to do each and every day. Everyone's moving in the right direction for sure.
What do you think kind of kept you from having a more productive last season, and why do you think it's going to, be better this year?
Last season we had a lot of moving parts, and each team has a new identity every year. So last year's team was last year's team. We did last season. That's over though, right? This year we're finding our new identity, finding what we need to do to be successful, and that's what we're going to do. So just doing my role, doing my part, and embracing it, and we'll make that happen.
Did you get a chance to watch Khalil's preseason debut?
Absolutely. I was so excited. I texted him last weekend. I was like, hey, good luck today. I thought their game was last week, and he was like, bro, I play next week. I was like, oh, sorry. I'm just excited. I was at home. We got the game queued up. We had pizza. We were sitting down ready. All the boys were sitting in the living room. We were so excited. So I'm proud of him. That's my boy.
With a little surprise after practice today. How close are you with Mark, and how much do you appreciate that?
He's been someone that has pushed and helped my mental aspect of my life so much, just being a role model, a father figure that we all can talk to, that we can rely on. We've had private conversations. We've had, great talks, and we've been over at his place. He's just such a great person. He's always pushing us to be the best person we can be, right? It's not just about ball. When ball's over, what type of man will you be? And, he's always helping us improve in that aspect of life, keeping our faith, keeping our strength, and, just being that same person that's going to be a strong man outside of these walls, So I really appreciate him. And then him bringing the watermelons out for us, super refreshing. Love him. That's just what he does. He's always giving, always looking to help us out. So appreciate him a lot.